I pull up, roll the window down it. I pull up, roll the window down it. Yeah, I pull up, roll the window down it.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. Cause the love you give, you can't be replaced.
In the case of anybody.
That's why I spend my life with you.
Hi, hotties, kettles, tea stirs. You're here for hot tea. All commentary is alleged, and in my opinion, this is for entertainment purposes only. So I'm hoping this will be a quick video. We're going to be talking about Mr. Angry Balls, Pinhead, Larry, Boring MLK, because I dropped the video about him the other day, and we were in the comments chatting it up, and I really got to do a live literally just talking about the comments that are in some of my videos, because I be wanting to elaborate a lot more on some of the stuff that y'all are talking about, but I'm trying to answer 100 plus messages and 100 plus comments as well. So, you know, it's hard to balance, but y'all let me know if y'all want that to be one of my live series, because once I get 10,000 subscribers, I'm definitely going to go live more often. And once I get a new laptop or a new computer, and the series literally has to be based on the comments on the videos that I make, because y'all are spot on, top tier, and so funny to me. So as we all know, Angry Balls did an interview with Carlos King, and I didn't really watch the interview, I'm going to be honest, but I did watch clips of that interview that was posted on Instagram. And I kind of just want to break down a few more points that I wanted to make but didn't really want to spill on in my last video. One of those being, Angry Balls didn't really elaborate on his schooling. And I don't know about y'all, but most friends, I know people that have degrees and law degrees and people that are doctors. And what I tend to take note in is, it's not that they flaunt it, but if you speak of their degrees or if you speak of their accolades and you minimalize it, they will at the very minimum correct you. So if you tell someone with a master's degree that they have an associate's, they will slightly correct you. Or if you say someone went to a community college school and you really went to an Ivy League, they will actually slightly correct you, because it's the accomplishment of it all. Stuff like that doesn't go under the radar, and it shouldn't. I mean, unless you have all of those accolades and you're dumb and clear as day as Tisha. So hopefully this video isn't too long, but I definitely want to elaborate on some things that I feel like are concerning about some of the things that he was speaking about in that interview. And also the fact that a lot of these very problematic men typically are glamorized and pushed more to the forefront when it comes to Carlos King. And I kind of take issue with that. As soon as they were about to start talking about his needs for S3X, you can see Carlos King sit back and get very happy, because it's my opinion, he already know Maurice's thoughts on this subject matter, and he knows that they are controversial, which is why he reacts and reposed this question via the interview, because he knew he would get a lot of shocking wow factor to this. So basically he knew it would be very controversial, and let's be real, what Angry Balls said wasn't anything technically unheard of, because if you look at statistics, you guys know I'm kind of a statistic person. I like facts, I don't like opinions. When you look at the statistics, most men leave their wives when they become sick or when they have a sickness, something as big as cancer. Why is that? Because a lot of them don't have no self-control. I also feel like a lot of women don't really have any self-value, which is why they would literally allow a man to see them for their body and not see anything wrong with that in the backhand or in the back end. And I feel like this is an example of what you get when you lead with your body and not your mind. I want to elaborate a little bit more in depth on that, but y'all check out this clip and we're going to talk about it after this, just to refresh you guys' memory. And this is a trigger warning.
Much of a sexual person to where, despite what she's going through right now, you still feel like there's a happy medium in terms of her pleasuring you.
There's a difference between wants and needs, all right? And I'm a person who actually needs sex, not a person who wants sex. Now, at times I want it, but I actually need it. life throws us curveballs like what we're going through right now. What Kimmy is doing is admirable as a spouse. To roll over and suffer through it, makes it all for me. Because at that moment, it's something that she completely didn't desire, right? So I look at it as her standing by me while I'm standing by her. As difficult as it may seem, we should all feel that we would be better people and say, oh, no, I don't want or need sex for however long it takes for you to recover. But we then live in reality where that's not true.
I want to ask you this. Oh, when you say you need sex, not want it, you need it. Obviously, there's things we need. We need oxygen. We need water. There's certain things we need in order to be able to live a healthy life. Why do you need sex?
I need sex like Carlos needs mess.
So a lot of people always like to say, oh, it's just reality TV. These are reality stars. These are characters. But at the end of the day, the things that they are portraying on this show is indicative to who they really are in real life, regardless of whether we think that it's for entertainment or it's bits and pieces or they're not showcasing everything. They're showcasing enough for us to gain a sense of understanding of what type of people these people are and their personality types and character. I mean, the show has had 6 seasons, so I'm pretty sure their personalities are pretty much consistent in what we have been seeing, especially despite the fact that they try hard to cover up a lot of things. So what I'm about to say is alleged, and a lot of things that I say can be controversial, and a lot of times I see triggered people intentionally take my words out of context, and I need y'all to pay close attention. Come here. We're not going to do that today. We're not going to intentionally misinterpret my point because you're triggered or alarmed or annoyed or upset or don't like me or got cussed out before. Especially because I want you guys to be very clear, and I want it to be very clear that I am not accusing him of this, but I am just speaking in more depths in how his behavior can be concerning, and how him showcasing this behavior on national television can be concerning, and how people can take this information and flip it the entirely wrong way, which is why we have to, as people, sit back and literally reflect on some of the things that are being showcased on our TV screen each and every Saturday or each and every week. We don't know what y'all watching. So before we talk about Angry Balls and his schooling situation and the big scam of it all, let's talk about his sentiments on, or his statements on, him needing sex. The reason why this is important, and if you guys would like to elaborate more on a live, we definitely can do that. But in my opinion, the reason why this is appalling and this is like disturbing and literally deplorable and like just it literally is kind of scary to me and a lot of people that was in my comment section, because he defines sex as a need, meaning he doesn't necessarily need to have any self-control when it comes to that. Hear me out. A need is food, water, breathing. But this man said that his need was S3X. Now, I am not accusing Angry Balls of anything, but hear me out. Let's put a man that needs S3X in a room full of children or around children for months at a time with no other person around. Yeah, the shock value. I know that's kind of triggering, but it's realistic. It's one of the conversations we realistically need to have. Or if that's too shocking, let's put a man that claims to need sex in a classroom with young girls. And let's say he hasn't been getting his sexual pleasures met at home due to, I don't know, his wife going through some type of illness, or simply him not having a wife, or simply people and women of his age thinking that he's an absolute loser and nobody wants him, because typically they see all the red flags and younger girls don't. What does that need then turn into? Again, I'm not saying Angry Balls is this type of man that would go to that depth to fulfill his need, but there are plenty of men that see S3X as a need, as if it was food, water, and a breath of air. So when you take a statement like that and you have an interview and the interviewer is laughing At the end of the day, the reason why it's so shocking and it's so appalling, because a man that does not have any self-control when it comes to the way he's slaying his thing, especially when his wife is going through a life or death scenario, no one going to be able to convince me will be able to have enough self-control in the presence of children when that need has not been met, or in the presence of younger adults when that need has not been met. Now, again, that's a tough conversation, but it's food for thought. If we continue to allow these men to walk around saying that this is a need, when realistically it's about your self-control, you need to have self-control, you need to have composure, then this is going to be a big problem. It's actually already a problem in our community. A lot of women, again, I'm not going to say that Kimmy is the type of woman to do this, or she is this woman, or she has done this, but a lot of women that seemingly chase after these men are extremely desperate and male identified are the type of women that cover up for these men in their sick, icky ways. These are conversations that a lot of y'all do not be wanting to have, but when we are talking about interactions like this displayed on national television and it being talked about in an interview in a joking manner, we need to understand the depths and how ignorant and how, I guess, dangerous that could be, especially when Black women are already heavily unprotected by the very men in our community. I would like to elaborate more on this topic. I would like to know you guys' point of view and your thoughts on what I said about this. And like I said, I'm not saying that Angry Balls is this type of man. What I'm saying is he said that he is a man that needs sex. So my question is, how does that affect the way we see him being around other children, young children, adult children, and just being in situations where he maybe cannot have that at long periods of time? If we put these men around, very vulnerable people, what type of men will they pan out to be? That is a very important question and a tough question, but it's one that needs to be asked. And I would like this to even be a question that we ask so much and we throw across so much and we've had so much dialogue about, that they bring that question on to Love and Marriage Huntsville at the reunion. Because in my opinion, a man that needs sex is very scary to me. Now, again, we know people are going to say, oh, we get what he's saying. He needs sex, in order to whoop the whoop. But this is a man who, in the same breath, said that his wife turns around and suffered through S3X as she is fighting cancer and fighting the battle of her life. So again, two cannot be true. He cannot be a man, in my opinion, that needs sex that bad to forcefully want to put himself, or not even forcefully, but to be having S3X with his wife that's fighting the battle of her life, but not be the one that has went, maybe let's say 6 months plus without sex, but is a school teacher around young girls on a day-to-day. I mean, these are valid questions, and I would love to know you guys' thoughts. I believe a man needs sex just as much as he needs to have self-control. And a man that does not have any self-control is a dangerous one. Moving on, next topic. So we know Angry Balls did an interview with Carlos King. And in that interview, Carlos King was like, you went to school of law. Like, you went to law school. You went to law school. Like, that is a big accomplishment. And I will not take anyone's accolades away from them. But all I'll say is, like, the School of Law, like law school and Birmingham School of Law is completely two different things. And people that literally go to law school are not to be confused or associated with people that go to the Birmingham School of Law. Don't get it twisted. Just because you have went to the Birmingham School of Law does not mean you are not successful or just as successful as other lawyers. But Angry Balls ain't one of these people. which is why he didn't clarify it. He didn't speak on it much or elaborate on it. And again, I don't know what type of lawyers y'all know, but the ones that I know are very proud. But he probably isn't, because it states on their website, is BSL accredited by the American Bar Association? It says, no, Birmingham School of Law is not accredited by the American Bar Association, nor do we anticipate applying to the American Bar Association for future American Bar Association accreditation. It says, however, pursuant to state law, Birmingham School of Law graduates are allowed to sit for the Alabama State Bar attorney licensing examination, and upon successful completion may practice law before all federal, state, and municipal courts or administrative bodies in Alabama. So again, you guys, like I said, he didn't actually go to a law school. He went to Birmingham School of Law, and the date admitted was June the 18th of 2020. So I don't know, y'all get in the comments, y'all let me know what you think about all of this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the post notification bell so you are up to date each and every time that I upload.
Yeah, I pull up, roll the window down it. I pull up, roll the window down it. Yeah, I pull up, roll the window down it.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. 'Cause the love you give, you can't That's why I'm mine. I spend my life with you.
Yeah. Hi, hotties, kettles, tea-sters. You're here for hot tea. All commentary is alleged, and in my opinion, this is for entertainment purposes only. So what y'all feel about the new intro? I know y'all very opinionated, so I would genuinely like to know your honest thoughts, because y'all have been on my ASS since I dropped my intro, because a lot of y'all really don't like it. A lot of y'all really think it's funny, but really some of y'all dislike it so much to the point to where y'all make it a point to tell me every video, and some of y'all every other video. And I really think it's funny. So much so, y'all biggest complaint, do not put Tisha back in the intro. Well, y'all, guess what? You know, I told y'all, I wanted to make it something special for everybody. Now, I know some people said that the flashing might have been too much, so I'm going to just let y'all know right now. I am so tired of waiting on people to do my intros and outros and whatever. I can't wait no longer. We're going to have to rock with that one for a little while longer. So here's what I will say. The intro is about 35 minutes long. So every time you click on my video, just go ahead and skip, because that's all I can help you with at this point. And also to the people who might have seizures and that might affect y'all, I'm so sorry. Again, I didn't know the transitions were going to actually come out like that. But so I do want to just go ahead and forewarn y'all. Every time y'all click on my video, go ahead and just skip 35 seconds of the video if you don't like the intro. Okay, but today we're here to talk about Miss Marlene, okay? Yes, Miss Marlene and her other criminalistic son, because she raised two criminals. And I do want to clarify, that's two criminals with two different daddies, since Walkie Talkie had an issue with clarifying that. And since he felt like he had the right to call Mel a whore, it looks like he's following in his mother's shoes. And who can be mad at that? We all admire our mothers for something. However, all jokes aside, y'all get in the comments. Let me know what you think about this video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the post notification bell so you are up to date each and every time that I upload. So Walkie Talkie is the big brother of Montez. It's Martez is Montez. They do not have the same daddy. Miss Marlene have two baby daddies, just like Slarion. So that's why Walkie Talkie probably resonate with Slarion more than he resonates with Mel. And I am not trying to say that people that got two baby daddies or multiple baby daddies is problematic. I'm just throwing shade at Walkie Talkie because he called Mel a whore. And if he thinks that Mel is a whore, then what is he and what would his mother be? He was also seen liking a lot of posts of Kevin Samuels that spoke ill of single mothers. So his mother would be one of those people that Kevin Samuels spoke ill about. So don't get triggered. None of this is about anybody but them and the contradictions of it all. Miss Marlene, I will say, was a beautiful woman, but look at Walkie Talkie. He always had a receding hairline, which would make sense as to why he's bald. He was never really bald by choice. He was bald because he had to really shave it all off. So I do just want to clarify it, and you probably will hear me clarifying this throughout the entire video, but Miss Marlene has 2 baby daddies. And I'm going to continue to say that Miss Marlene has 2 baby daddies because I feel like this is something that bothers Walkie Talkie. 1, we never knew he had a brother. 2, he said that this is the brother that has the same mother as him. And I also want y'all to remember that scene that Miss Marlene had with Walkie Talkie when she was like, so you got some daddies that don't even take care of their babies, because neither one of their daddies wanted to take care of him, which is why she feels like her son is justified for stalking his ex-wife. Walkie Talkie in her looks at that as love because his father or her other baby daddy never put that much effort into either one of his sons or either one of their sons until he became famous or got on TV, as they all do. But Walkie Talkie grew up in a fatherless household the same way he created 2 fatherless households, the same way his mother picked 2 men that created 2 fatherless households. So it works hand in hand. So I'm speaking more about generational curses. People that aren't aware of their generational curses typically aren't going to be prone to trying to break them. And I say that to say, before I end my ramble, I know y'all like to come at me when I talk about baby slop, but with a father like Walkie Talkie, a grandmother like, what's her name? And then a mother like Slarion and a grandmother like Grand Slaw. I mean, what's really, you know what I'm saying, is the outcome. Especially when we know the statistics of boys and girls that come from 2-parent households and fatherless households. So if these 2 people see nothing wrong with their actions and don't put any work in to correct them or break these curses, then typically the children are going to bear the same ones. Until those children get to a certain point or a certain place in life or a certain age in life to break those or realize them for themselves and break them on their own. So Montez DeQuan Holt, and I don't know, see, because he has the last name Holt, or is that his mama name? Does that come from his mama side? So do they have their daddy last name or do they have their mama last name? And if they clarify this in the show, I'm sorry, y'all, I didn't watch it.
Bad boys, what you want, what you want, what you gonna do? Bad boys, what you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? When Sheriff John Brown come for you.
So unfortunately, just like Stormy, DeQuan had to go in his own holding cell. Although Stormy crimes weren't as serious, his crimes seemed to be back to back. He seemed to be a repeat offender, just like MLK Boring Angry Balls. And for those of you that's wondering, that's Maurice Scott. And we're going to talk about him in the next video because he's deplorable.
Teach me some things.
Yeah. I've always been that role model, that big brother. But what I always told him is, like, you have to want it for yourself. And, you know, he hasn't always listened, but I'm thankful for right now that he is listening.
I don't know, y'all. I think I'm going to have to do a poll because I think he might be listening too much. So after that conversation, Montez DeQuan Holt was arrested in Madison County, Alabama for attempting to elude a police officer. That's a misdemeanor crime. However, he had just got off of probation, and he said that in that sit down that he had with his older brother, Walkie Talkie Holt. So things of that nature seemingly is rubbing off on him a little bit too much. But this is after that conversation. He has a rap sheet that I would like to discuss because, like I said, in this sit down, he said that he had just got off of probation. But probation from what is what I had been wondering. He was one of the suspects in a chase. I think, with the police. Let's read it. I found this documentation, but a lot of y'all sent me this as well and wanted me to talk about it. For your information, this was in 2014 and updated in 2015. So it says Huntsville police confirmed they arrested a subject Sunday evening following a car chase. A woman called police Sunday afternoon to report seeing her car stolen. So that's what type of person we're looking at right now. Walkie-talkie was trying to steal an ATM, and his brother was trying to steal a car. Birds of a feather flock to what? Together. Another one of Miss Marlene's boys that probably don't need therapy. Girl, the report also say police said they saw a man driving the vehicle near Mallory Avenue and LaSalle Road. They followed the vehicle down Dope Drive. At some point, the driver ditched the car and got into a second vehicle nearby. The subject continued driving to Dakota Circle, still pursued by police, before stopping the car and running on foot. So just to put this into perspective, he stole a car, drove it all the way somewhere, got out, ran, got into the other car, and then was still being chased by the police before he got out of that car and started running. Like, y'all, this is literally an episode of Cops. The reports say police caught up with the man in the backyard of a home and arrested him without incident. He was identified as Montez Daquan Holt. Investigators are working to determine if the second vehicle the man used in pursuit was stolen as well. Holt is charged with receiving stolen property and attempting to flee and elude police. His bond has not been set yet. I mean, Montez is literally more famous than his brother. Walkie-talkie do criminalistic things and don't get caught or get away with them. His brother get caught. And it's not even to say walkie-talkie don't get caught, but he has a lot of enablers. And I think it's about his appearance and the fact that people perceive him to be an educated black man. And a lot of times when people perceive you to be an educated black man, you can get away with literally RM, kidnapping, DV. Literally, the world protects educated black men that are literally abusers like they are token gold. So I can literally just see a little bit of where they can be similar and where one can get away and one can't get away. His brother dressed like a regular hood boy, as where walkie-talkie dresses in suit and tie and literally does the same criminalistic actions and things, but just wears suit and tie. So people perceive him to be a good, educated black man that's just trying to get by and do for his family. So a lot of times they protect these people. But don't get me to rambling because I'll get to spilling. With that being said, the Holt family is no infant to crime or even being broadcast on the news over in Huntsville. Might I add, everything that I say in this video is alleged, even though I'm going to show you all of the paperwork and documentation. So far, Montez Holt was on Crime Stoppers just this past month. He was also in that crazy car wreck, and they reported that on the news.
Actually check your bank statements. Would you overlook $9,000 missing out of your account? Police want to find suspected identity thieves and more in tonight's Crime Stoppers. Here's Trent Butler.
This week, the Crime Stoppers are urging you to keep up with your debit card and also check those bank statements often, and here is why.
Police say these two men were seen using a stolen debit card at this Huntsville Mapco. In fact, investigators tell us the card was used for nearly 2 months and more than $9,000 was taken out of the victim's account before action was taken to cancel the card. So look closely here. Do you recognize this troublesome twosome? If you do, you could be in line for a 4-figure reward. They were seen on surveillance leaving the Mapco in a dark-colored Honda sedan.
Teach me some things.
Yeah, I've always been that role model, that big brother. But what I always told him is like, you have to want it for yourself. And, you know, he hasn't always listened, but I'm thankful for right now that he is listening.
So you can't really see the video that clearly, but here is the video that they believe to be Montez. This was the video associated with the sound that you guys just heard. So let's go ahead and read what it is that they actually had to say, because they left a photo of him and a woman, and a lot of you seemingly think that this was an aunt of his or something. I think it could be a friend. I don't know. Let's see. So all of this took place in 2006 in October. The picture that they released was Montez Holt and Tiffany Hogan. The article says it was a gold Rolex watch worth $20,500. So it's obvious this crook knew what he was getting. But before he could say, "I'll take it," he took it. The suspect is described as a black man, approximately 20 to 23 years old, with a big gap in front his teeth and pretty quick feet. It says it reminds you of an old line about watching time fly. Speaking of time, this man will be spending time behind bars if you lead him to police. It says call Crime Stoppers. It also says Montez Daquan Holt is also a man on the run. He's wanted by Alabama A&M police for escape and possession of controlled substance. So this is 2-in-1 in this article when it comes to Daquan. It also says Alabama A&M police are also looking for Tiffany Yannette Hogan. They want to question her about some stolen property, and the business community is among those affected by crime. What's best for, basically it's just, rambling on about the businesses and what they taken and who they took from. Y'all get in the comments. Let me know what you think about all of this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, hit the post notification bell so you are up to date each and every time that I upload. And you can be up to date with all of the latest Love and Mirror Chunksville drama.
Individual's name, it opens up everything that every public record regarding that individual. And an individual named Martell LeVar Holt was convicted of possession of burglary tools in 2007 in Morgan County, Alabama. That's a matter of public record. The individual went to trial, was convicted by a jury, was sentenced to 10 years, but that sentence was suspended and they were placed on 3 years probation. At the end of that probationary term, and about 7 years later, that individual applied and got a pardon from the Bureau of Pardon and Paroles in 2017.
Yeah, I pull up roto windows down it. I pull up roto windows down it. Yeah, I pull up roto windows down it.
Baby, you don't know what you do to me. Between me and you, I feel like chemistry. I won't let no one come and take your place. 'Cause the love you give, you can't replace.
In the case of anybody.